everyone. I want to apologize in advance if there are any barking dogs in this video because I am in my backyard. So I want to talk today a little bit about non-sexual male and female relationships. So it's pretty widely acknowledged in the red pill world that men and women can't be just friends, and I tend to agree with that. Denying sexual attraction is really denying reality. However, there are a number of non-sexual relationships men and women can have with each other that can be really productive, and most healthy societies have these. Our society is not healthy, and most male-female relationships fall into the category of either dysfunctional or sexual, and there are more kinds of relationships in this. So a good example of a non-sexual male-female relationship would be a priest and a member of his church. It's very well established from the outset that that's not going to be a sexual relationship, and the young woman, let's say, will open up fully to her priest, and he will keep that information in confidence. Another example of this would be two musicians working together. This is sort of a different kind of relationship because these would be peers, whereas the priest and the young woman would be more of a paternal type mentoring relationship. In the case of the musicians, there may very well still be that sexual energy. Maybe it doesn't go both ways, oftentimes it can, but when you have that kind of sexual energy that's not fueled into a romantic relationship, it has to go somewhere. That energy has to be expressed. And this usually comes out in the form of creativity. Increase creativity, increase magnetism, if you will. This is something that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book Think and Grow Rich, which I highly recommend to anyone. It's about so much more than just physical or material wealth. It's really about personal growth and what it takes to achieve your dreams in a non-cheesy way. But he talks about sexual magnetism, which is just kind of another way of saying what we would call charisma, and how all high achieving people have learned how to channel their sexual energy into other productive arenas. So again, it's not an energy that can be denied, but it can be channeled. I mean, I think you could ask any high-functioning man, if he expresses all of his sexual energy through sex, and he would probably tell you, no, I find other things to do with my time that's productive. And this can be accomplished just on your own by channeling your own energy, but it really comes to fruition when it's two people working together within a structure that is very clear not to be a sexual relationship. And I think some of the most dynamic and creative partnerships really blossom in these types of situations because there is that extra energy, that extra, again, just magnetism is the best way I can think of to put it, that has to go somewhere. And so instead of becoming a romantic thing, it comes out in a really great song that two people write together, or it just comes out in a sort of paternal father-daughter relationship between a priest and the woman in his church. And I know that sounds really weird to say that sexual energy could be geared into a paternal relationship, but when it's not actually your family, there is that sort of blurred line. But when it's very clear that it's not going to be sexual, it never will be, you can channel that context into a more platonic kind of love that can be extremely productive and very, very close. So I hope that gave you a good idea of what it means to have non-sexual relationships between men and women, and I hope that you have some of these in your life. If not, then I invite you to try to find some of them, whether it's in a religious community or just through one of your creative endeavors. I think it could really open up your experience and give you something new. So have a good night.